Give a warm round of applause for
King Andile, mama.
And he captures the moment.
King Andile, mama.
And it is extraordinary.
Journalist and commentator all the way from Uganda, Asha Kumugisha.
Unjani.
Hey, but who's teaching you these things?
Hey, you don't know I'm from Umtata there.
Hey! Umtata of all places. Listen, you stand with Asha. Presidents of federations come and greet, and you're thinking, yeah, but who am I standing with? You know, Lukolo September was here, and Lukolo, when he sees Asha, he goes to her.
I'm carrying his bag, that man. Ask him.
Lukolo September. AFCON wasn't just great for CAF, it was great for SABC.
It really was.
Nomsa Shaveri, who's a group CEO, crazy football. I'm not going to mention the club she supports. No one is perfect.
Nomsa, you pay my bills. I'm quiet. Let's talk to Patrice Motsepe, have an hour-long conversation at 3 in the morning.
This is my boss, eh?
Does he call you at 3 in the morning? Linda Mtambo, captain at Kukuna United, is wearing, how do I describe this outfit?
This is simple.
Simple. I have with me Theo Manyama. This is a man whom many in the world know too well. I mean, I see the pictures of you with some of the game's greatest. Where did you meet Tiger Woods?
That picture, we were in the White House in America.
What are you doing in the White House?
We were invited.
By who?
By the president.
Which president? I think it was George Bush that wasn't president at the time.
Yes.
Theo Manyama, Olepara.
With Andile on Metro FM, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Game over.
Exactly 9 after the hour, 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. Thank you so much to Lerato Khanyago and the Touchdown team. Back again tomorrow between 3 and 6. I don't remember. Actually, I'd have to think back a little bit. The last time I had to calm myself down. Today we took 1 minute longer to come on the air. We normally come on at 8 minutes past 6. Today we came on, it's just gone past 9 now. Because I needed to calm myself down, because the whole day I've been so amped up, and I needed something to release that amp so that I come here clear-minded in what I'm going to say, so I don't say things that end up getting me in trouble because of how I'm feeling. The reason I'm feeling the way I'm feeling is because 2 days ago on this show we told you about a young boy, 17 years old. 17 years old. We told you about Kwena Mapaka, who goes to St. Stithians. He's in matric. He's 17 years old. He was at the Under-19 World Cup when the world said, hey, something special is happening here. He played his first match for the Mumbai Indians in the most exclusive and most expensive league with the best players in the world. He's by far the youngest player there at 17. Black boy from South Africa. Right? We are here, Cass Naidu and myself are going on about how great this is for South Africa, for this young boy. Yeah? He gets an opportunity to play. This is the best league in the world, guys. This is the best league with the best players in the world with the highest amount of money. This boy is already a millionaire. He plays his first match yesterday, bowls 4 overs. And is met with nothing but fire from the most experienced batters in the world. He goes for over 60 runs in the 4 overs. You can imagine how bad that is. He goes for over 60 overs in the for 60 runs rather in the 4 overs. People come out of the woodworks. Kevin Peterson, even football players, cricket players, old and new, saying, hey, you're going to learn from this young man. Can't wait to see what you do coming out of this. Right? That's the narrative. That's what everybody's saying, except for one person. One person who's a South African bowler even. Dale Steyn. I say his name with the disdain that it rhymes with. Dale Steyn. He laughs at the young man and tells him that this is not the under-19. He will learn. He's met with a baptism of fire. The same fire I think of when your name comes up. Dale Steyn.
Spar Rewards brings you a whole lot more with 4 days of even more from 29 March to 1 April. Like 900-gram Lobster pre-packed cheese for $119.99 and 355ml Red Bull energy drink. Buy any 2 for 30 Rand. Spar Rewards. Sign up for more.
Nazo, and that's why we shop in Spar.
Attention all aviator passengers. It's raining bonus bets at Hollywood Bet's hottest game. Play between 6 and 8 p.m. every day to grab your share of 250,000 Rand in free bets. Hollywood Bets. Fly higher with us. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line is 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Why choose Cash Build this Easter? Transform your space from before to breathtaking after with our wide range of quality products. From painting a single room to full renovations, Cash Build has you covered. Cash Build has a VIC loyalty card that rewards big spenders with big savings. Enjoy free local delivery when you shop at Cash Build. Cash Build, quality building materials, tools, paint, and hardware at the lowest prices.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
It's 13 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. My name is Andile Ngube. This is Sports Night Amplified with Andile. I very seldom, and if you're a listener of the show, you know that, I very seldom make things about race. Because I like seeing the good in people. I like thinking that people can air black and white of the opposition without it being race. I do believe that a white person can have a problem with a black person, and that problem is genuinely because the other person is a crap person. I believe that. I genuinely do. I believe that vice versa as well. It can happen. But it's so testing to me. It is so testing to me when a senior cricket player, and I'm going to choose to say that this was not racially motivated. I'm going to choose to say that Dale Steyn, a South African international, a man who wore the Proteas honor on him, bestowed to him by you and I. When we learned today, this morning, that he's no different from a Mark Boucher, from a Graham Smith, from a Jacques Callis in the way that he looks at you and I. Because how do you then go when the whole world is sympathizing with a 17-year-old and telling him that he's going to grow? I'm going to quote this tweet that still stands on Dale Steyn's Twitter, X. And I quote, Mapaka, and listen to the tone, because if you're saying, hey, this is the big leagues, welcome young man, it's different to listen to the tone and the condescendingness in which this is said in. Mapaka realizing the difference between under 19 and the pro league, pro in capital letters. And then he goes on to say, baptism of fire. Dale Steyn, speaking about South Africa's pride, the person whom which right now we are all speaking great things about and saying, you know, we wish you the best of luck. No, not Dale Steyn. Not a professional, a South African, a fast bowler, somebody to which this kid is probably looking up to, has looked up to. He then comes back today, after having seen the backlash. Today, he comes back and says, and I quote, I woke up feeling for Gwena Mapaka today, but I know he's surrounded by some amazing people at Mumbai Indians, and he's going to be absolutely fine. His first experience, regardless of result or performance, should still be the most amazing cricket experience he's ever had. At just 17, it's only upwards from here. Well done, young man. End quote. It's a little too late, isn't it? It's a little too late, isn't it? And also, if you read into it the way I did, I looked at it and I thought, I know exactly what this is. He's had the backlash. So he's now thinking, ooh, this is too much backlash. Even from corners of society, which is a cricketing community, white, Indian, all sorts are saying, what the is wrong with you? So now he's got to save face and say something nice so that he doesn't look like the toilet seat that he is. But he can't even in that begin to apologize for what he said, and I'm glad he didn't, because all it means is that he truly, truly feels like that. I am highly disappointed, but not surprised. Because if you fly to Durban every week and you see the ocean and you get surprised and you get worked up by it, and every week you do the same thing, then the problem is you. So if I'm going to get surprised by what white South African cricketers do, then the problem is me. Shame on you, Dale Steyn. Shame on you. Like I said, there must be a reason Dale Steyn rhymes with disdain. It's 17 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. I'm going to take a break because I need to cleanse from this negativity for the conversation I'm about to have now. A man that I saw when he was still a boy. He's now a fully fledged man, and we want to celebrate a little bit of what he's done because I do feel there's still so much more. But find out why it is that at the moment he's not doing what he, from a very young age, said he was born to do.
Y'all ready? The Metro FM Music Awards 2024. Light to the future.
The nominees for Best Jazz Album: Amandla Freedom Ensemble, Oratorio of a Forgotten Youth. Sibusiso Mash Mashilwane, Izibongo. Mbuso Khoza, Ifa Lomkhono. Bokani Daya, Radio Sichaba.
You can see it. Hosted by the devil, ruled by the rebel, supreme God.
Vusi Mahlasela, Umoya, Embracing the Human Spirit.
To vote, dial *120*. 45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards 2024.
Are you ready for an amazing night?
Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you want to be. T's and C's apply.
Capture your celebrations with Mr. D this March and you could stand a chance to win 10,000 Rands weekly. Simply show us how Mr. D has featured in your March celebrations. Post a photo or video and tag our social, and of course you could be a lucky winner of, listen to it, 10,000 Rand in cash. T's and C's apply.
Now on Best Mornings, win your share of 25,000 Rand in cash with Nivea Men Deep, powered by Black Carbon. Keep your finger on the trigger. The first caller will get to show what they know. Do you have what it takes to win the cash? Make an impact with Metro FM and Nivea Men, the official sponsor of Real Madrid. Nivea Men, it starts with you. T's and C's apply.
Join the Best Value Network with Telkom and save up to 300 Rand when you purchase any selected Telkom prepaid device at our participating retail partners. Plus, you get free 5 gigabytes anytime data, 5 gigabytes night surfer data, and a 25-minute all-network voice bundle once off with every purchase. Offer available at your nearest Pep, Ackermans, TFG, Mr. Price, and other participating retail stores. Get it now.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
Bafana player who's not quite with the team at the moment. AmaZulu goalkeeper Veli Motwa. Veli, there's Bafana games that stick out in my mind, you know. The Nigeria game at AFCON will always stick out. I think it was a classic. Obviously, there's the classic Brazil game. There's the Argentina game, which is a classic. I can count them, man, you know. The Tunisia match, of course. The qualification for the World Cup match. They're just matches that stick out. I think 3-3 against Algeria is going to go down in history as a classic.
We were supposed to beat Algeria, actually, but with how things transpired, you know, we got good performance to the guys, and then especially Shigabala, you know, what do you expect? You expect good things.
He's a special man, huh?
We love Shigabala. Actually, personally, even me, I say I love him.
6 to 7 p.m.
It's exactly 21 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. My guest today is former TS Galaxy, Bidvest, Mamelodi Sundowns in the Tigers, of course, Orlando Pirates, Chippa United, Cape Town All-Stars. Have I counted all of them? So many teams that Xola Mlambo has played for, and a man that many at some point thought, you know, is going to be the next best midfielder in that Bafana AmaZulu as well, in that Bafana team. But the man who was once a prospect for the national team today sits idle. What happened between that dream and now? Xola Mlambo joins me in studio. Xola, I remember seeing you in Cape Town, sitting in the stands. I was in Cape Town for a holiday. I heard there was a game. I went down to watch All Stars, and you were a part of that team. I didn't see you at M Tigers, because I used to enjoy watching M Tigers as well. I thought that was the best youth structure in the country at the time. But I saw you there, and I thought to myself, gee whiz, what a talent. How old were you then?
It's just unfortunate, Uguti, when I got to M Tigers, I was past my developmental stage, you know. But I was fortunate enough to still get the developmental lessons because I didn't have a proper developmental structures growing up. So if I'm not mistaken, I think at M Tigers I was 24, if not 25.
Was it Northwest before M Tigers or after? Which came first?
It was Northwest University before.
Then M Tigers?
Then M Tigers, yeah.
Who was in that M Tigers team that you were playing with?
Oh, we had such a number of quality players. Remembering well, in
the
our
late
team,
Madisha.
Yeah, we had the late Madisha. We had Spelele Mkhulise. We had Petso Mapanga, the former Orlando Pirates left back. We had Kaya Shozi. We had quite a number of great players. We had Steyn, who was our captain at that time. He also went on to play for TX Galaxy, JDR. We had Khawone, who was a centre back at TS Galaxy as well. We had Budibe, who played a final against Kaizer Chiefs when TS Galaxy won. I mean, right-footed, who played on the left. He was dealing with Ukama Billiard. So we had quite a number of talent. I mean, Paseka Maku was in that team as well. It's just unfortunate, Uguti, there's a player that people did not get to witness who was called Orozco. You know, we used to admire playing with him. He made football so simple. I think if you can mention quite a few players that played in the first team, Alesos Kati, when Abo Pelembe was still in the first team, Abo Lafo, they respected him a lot. He was the next surprise Moriri, so they said. But
what happened to him?
Football. What
does that mean?
He had a first team contract at that time at Mamelodi Sundowns when we were there. And because when we moved, you know, when you are binded by a contract, it then limits you to be able to explore other moves, to go to one place to the other. So I last saw him there. You know, it was just unfortunate, and my heart was so sore. Agasana team, he was playing somewhere. Blom in the Vodacom teams, but was such a talent. So his squad said to had a number of good players,
and it happens a lot. I mean, I met with a mother yesterday who was telling me about her child who's 25, and everybody's always said he's the best player they've ever seen, but he doesn't make it onto the top. It happens sometimes. The greatest talent, and Sonke Sabaza Kasi, where it's like, this guy was the best at Gaslam, but they never quite make it into the top form. So there's an element of luck as well in football, do you think?
Yeah, it does. I think luck contributes a lot. But it's sad if one player at that age already had a first team contract and vanishes. You know, it shows Uguti he was.
Maybe we should find Roscoe. We should find Roscoe and bring him in. If Kola says this was the biggest prospect for South Africa,
Definitely
and he never
was. I mean, he was Paseka's best friend.
There you go. There's a link. Paseka Marco will help us out here. But before we go to what's since happened, because, you know, I can't say you're without a team, because I don't look at sports like that. You're not without a team. You're without a job at the moment, because that's what it is. That's your livelihood. That's how you feed your family. That's how you work to pay your bills off. So at the moment, you're without a job. Before we get there, I want us to relive a moment. 3rd of October, 2016. Do you remember that day? That laugh and that smile tells me that date. Do you remember that day?
I'm not sure if I'm correct, but if my memory serves me well, the final.
It is. It is. What final?
MTN 8 final.
MTN 8 final at Mbombela, yeah. Wits versus Sundowns. And more importantly for you, because it was against Sundowns.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that day?
Oh, that day.
8 years ago, man, Chikol.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. And unfortunate, the memory never dies, you know. And when you see on social media people still posting and talking about that game, I mean, how many MTN 8 finals have been playing? But people don't stop talking about that. That means we did something great at that time, you know. It was goosebumps.
And it was not just any Sun. It was a Sundowns under Pizzo.
Yeah, it was a very strong Sundowns. I mean, that's a Sundowns that won Sundowns the Star. So it shows it was a very strong competitive Sundowns. They had Abu Keegan Dolly. I mean, Pesitao, Kamabila was there.
Elias, I think Belembe was still there at the time. No, he was with you.
No, Belembe was with us.
He was with you, yeah.
Yeah, but they had the greatest players that you can think of in the PSL. Anthony Lafort. You can name them.
And you took them on in the final. You playing a team that gave you football, basically, that taught you football, because you were part of the structure of Sundowns for so long. But on that day, hey!
And I hadn't finished my welcoming into the PSL because I hadn't had a full-on season into the Premiership. That's why when I recall of the moment, like it gives me joy to say God sometimes works in mysterious ways, you know. I mean, we were only used to playing against that team when I was at M Tigers, playing AMA friendlies against the players that did not travel when we were not playing the Vodacom League. And then here a few months later, found myself playing in the same stage with them in an MTN 8 final.
I'm a player Bugela because, you know,
yeah.
Is it correct to say because you were not good enough to get into the first team at Sundowns? How do you look at it?
I don't look at it as good enough. I think sometimes there's so many ways of making it, you know. Like they always say, when he closes one door, he always opens the other one.
Just wasn't your time then?
Yeah, it was not my time. I think the conversation we had with Coach Den when we left Mamelodi Sundowns is that he offered them close to 8 players at that time from the reserve team.
Is this Pito now?
Pito was at the first team.
Okay, so which coach are you talking about?
So, we were coached by Coach Dan Malisela.
Oh, you mean the coach at Tigers, Dan Malisela, no Zipo.
Yeah, they did not have a space for all of us because the players that only stayed behind, Begu Mkulise, but I did not even have a space. So the only person that made it to play in that team of ours to graduate into the first team and play, Begu, the late Ace Madisha. I mean, may his soul rest in peace. Because Mkulise had to leave as well, Black Leopards and you know. So I guess indlela zethu ngeke is fun. You know, our journey was to go through Cape Town All Stars, from Cape Town All Stars it sonke, because even the players that I've named, Abo Petso Mapanga, we left the reserve team of Mamelodi Sundowns. We went to Cape Town All Stars. We took a risk. We did not know what's gonna happen and because I remember, they wanted to take me to the USA, college league. It was Mr. Bishop at that time. And Coach Dan came to me and said, you know what, I have a plan. If you're interested, then we can go together.
Cape Town, yeah, because he was then under, I think, the ownership of Lungancwana down in Cape Town at the time, bringing in the coach there. So you had an opportunity to go to the US. Coach Dan said, no, let's go to Cape Town. Do you think about that now, when you think about the decision you made then?
I think the decision that I made was good for me because it was not a guaranteed thing. It was a suggestion from Mr. Bishop. I think he was the head of development at that time, you know. And then when Coach then came with a proposal, he sounded well and convincing about it, and I accepted. And that's why I'm saying I'm grateful I took the decision that I took at that time and trusted Coach Dan, because, I mean, it's better the devil you know sometimes, you know.
I look at your journey and I look at everything that you've done, and like I said, at some point, you know, people were saying, here's a possible prospect. And I think it was when you had Orlando Pirates. Here's a prospect for Bafana Bafana. You know, there was those murmurs and those rumors to say this could be somebody that could be in that team. Today you sit and you watch Bafana Bafana from afar. Do you remember that time?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, there's a moment even worse that I don't forget when I think the national coach was Stewart. You know, everyone was saying the boy now deserves to be in the national team. And he came out with his own mouth and said, yeah, the boy deserves, but unfortunately it's just that the game we are going to play, I don't think it would suit him, you know. It was a bitter pill to take because he spoke about pace and skill and whatsoever. And you look at the international players, I always reference Ofu Busquets, what he played against your Brazil or whatsoever, speedy, pacey players, skillful. But they had a belief in him and they used him, you know. So after he had said that, I think I made peace with the fact that maybe my journey to represent South Africa is not with the national colors, but to either represent South Africa with the team that I'm currently playing for, whenever it is, because I was granted an opportunity to compete in the continental stage with Westvets University. That's also part of representing the national team. I managed to do that playing for Orlando Pirates. It's representing the national team. I did that again, Amazulu. So I then said, there's better ways of representing the national team. It's not only with the national team colors, you know.
But Kola, something like that, I mean, Tyson, who's represented the national team, is a little bit older than what you are, still has hope that one day he'll get in there. You don't come that close to the national team. Have a coach say that about you, and you just say, oh, okay, there's other ways, and you move on. Something like that, doesn't it psychologically?
I think it does. It does impact a person at that level, you know, my answer. But for me now, I think I took it as a motivation. That's why I then told myself, Uguti, it's not a deal breaker. It's not the end of it, you know. So I did not close the door of saying I will never don the national team jersey. I just look at it in a different eyeball to say, okay, this is a time for me to refocus and actually not to be hurt by the news and disappointed and then bend my head as if like it's the end of the world. You know, it gave me the courage to even prove myself even better and more.
I can imagine just hearing those words. It must feel like a knife through your heart at the time.
Definitely. I mean, you're sitting at home, the national team is being called up, and then you hear the national team coach saying that, yeah, it deserves to be, but you did not call me. You might have well not have said it.
It would have been better had he not said
Definitely.
it. Yeah. Now, and this is why, because 2016, highlight of your career with Wits, because of everything you won. It was the league that year, it was the MTN, you went into Africa. That team was a solid team under Gavin Hunt, correct?
Definitely.
You then move, Orlando Pirates, TS Galaxy, the last team you were with. But we sit here today, if anybody's been listening to this right now, they might be like, oh, where is he now? Because we're telling a good story of an obviously great player, not even promising. At this point, you're not promising anymore. You are within the folds of good players in South Africa. Kola, why are you without a job?
Yeah, Andile, it's a very difficult subject when it started, but I'm at peace with what happened now, because when I left TS Galaxy, I was approached and confronted to say, the coach says you are no longer part of his plans and they are terminating the contract and you know, and I'm a footballer who is not...
How long was your contract?
I had a 2-year contract with TS Galaxy.
And how far into your contract were you?
I think we were left with 2 games.
Oh, then the end of the contract?
No, we were left with 2 games towards the end of the first season.
So you still had another year of your contract?
Yeah, I still had another year of contract, and then the team manager called me and said, the coach says you mustn't join the team, and it was 2 games to go. I then said, oh, okay, no problem, cool, because I had to adhere to that. And then it went on, to find myself in a situation where I was. If maybe I was without a job and I had an opportunity to go look for a job elsewhere. But
I want to take you back a little bit. Sorry, I don't understand these things holistically. If Metro FM calls me today and say, hey, don't come in tomorrow, I'm going to say, oh, okay. Then Monday will come and Tuesday will come. Then I'll call to say, hey, guys, can I come in now? Then they'll say, no, you're not part of it. And then I'll go and say, okay, I need a meeting. I want to know why. What's going on?
Yeah, in football, I think you can do that if you don't understand and don't know why. So when the manager called me, he made it clear to say, the coach says he no longer needs you in his team, You
don't want to know why?
And then she then said, because it's Tim's daughter, we will arrange your individual training session until the end of the season. I said, okay, cool, no problem. And then when the season ended, they then contacted me and said, no, you are no longer part of the plan. Apparently your relationship with the coach has been broken. I said, oh, okay, I cannot force to be in a place where I'm not wanted, Andile.
How did you break your relationship with the coach?
They never mentioned it.
But I'm asking you dealing with the coach. What happened? How did you break the relationship with the coach?
The last training session that I had with TS Galaxy with the coach, it was a fun day, football tennis. That was my last day seeing them. And then we played football tennis, and the coach were cheating us. And then I moved on the side, did call. After the training session, we prayed. Tim Sugazi was there on the day, and then nothing was said or called in for hearing or whatsoever if maybe I disobeyed the coach or whatsoever for cheating us when we were playing tennis, And the saddening thing is that I met with the assistant coach prior and after they've terminated my contract while I was busy dealing with the nitty-gritties of it. It was in engine, And when I met with the assistant coach, he was working with the analyst at that time. They said to me, but why didn't you call the coach? And because that day it was a fun day, it was not supposed to happen the way it happened. I said, but if it was a fun day, why wasn't it taken fun? Like
so, Kola, you're saying to me, you guys are playing the football tennis. It's made popular, I think, in Brazil. And it's fun. I've seen it. You guys are very highly skilled in it. The coaches are cheating you, maybe calling balls that are out in, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You call them out for it to say, "I need ropa," and you move aside, right?
It didn't happen only like that, because they cheated us first, and then we accepted and moved. We took the loss and say, oh, okay. So what really got to me, it's the remarks that were always made when we were being cheated. Hey, I'm the coach here, to the referees. So the referees are obviously the technical team, the masseurs, the whatsoever. I'll fire you and whatsoever. So you listen to those statements. I mean, I'm a human being. They don't sit well. And I've seen it happen, unfortunately, when a person does not agree with the coach and they found themselves without employment. I mean, we had, who's the guy name, if I'm not forgetting the name, but he was the one, I think he was like a team manager of some sort or license manager, none. It was the game against Swallows. He called the coach to say, it's your time, and the coach did not receive those news well because he was busy, I think, talking with team in the field. After that, we heard that he was fired, So, and then the incident when players were not paid, there was a voice note that was leaked.
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, I was one of the people who were trying to speak to the guys to say, I know it's difficult, Let's try and help each other out and see the face. It will go over. If you can help a brother to have bread so that he can come to work, so be it.
I remember somebody saying that in that meeting, in fact.
It was me.
Oh, okay.
Saying all of those things. And then the person that leaked the audio found himself without a job. He was fired. So once you disagree with
was it a player?
No, it was not a player. He was amongst the people that were working with social media and whatsoever. So it happened. So when my situation happened, when the remarks were being sent and whatsoever, I did not like it. I'm a human being as well. We cannot be having fun and playing, then a repetitive situation occurs and certain things are said and done. So why are the coaches partaking in a footballing tennis if they won't take losing, and they will say things if it's jokingly? And I think my moving aside and was not appreciated and accepted, because there's nothing that I said. I just said I can't stand being cheated like this all the time, And when I moved aside, if there was a huge deal breaker, I think maybe I was supposed to be called in for a meeting and say, hey, you don't behave in this manner, and then I'll apologize if I have to apologize. Or I should be asked as to why are you doing this, and then I'll explain my part, and then maybe we find a way of resolving this matter. But the team called up, I was out of the team. I took it as if I guess I did not perform well enough to travel with the team. And after the final game that they played, I received a call later on from the team manager. That's how it happened,
Gotta hold it there, because I'm in disbelief. I really am. And I find it hard. It makes no... Let's take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, Kolam Lambo's with us.
When South Africans think security, they think Trinidor. With 6 months interest-free financing and over 54 franchises around the country, you can always find the security product and price that's right for you. Visit trinidor.co.za or call 0861 Trinidor today. Trinidor, the ultimate crime barrier.
Pizza stories by Roman's Pizza.
Yummy. Get 2 large pizzas from the Feaster deal for just $179.90 and get a 2-liter Pepsi free. That'll feed a lot of people until it comes to dum, the very last slice. And then it's a standoff. 2 large pizzas from the Feaster deal for just $179.90 and get a 2-liter Pepsi free. Roman's Pizza, best value.
Experience the best of South Africa at the Rancho 2024. Get ready for non-stop thrills, heli flips, and crazy drifts to get everyone going. Bring the little ones into the enchanting world of the Kids Fun Zone, or immerse yourself in a prehistoric adventure at the new Dino Expo. It's not just fun for you, it's Monate for everyone. 28 March to 1 April, Johannesburg Expo Center, Nasrec. Grab your tickets now at rancho.co.za.
Former TS Galaxy, Bidvits, Mamelodi Sundowns, as well as Orlando Pirates midfielder Kolam Lambo is with us at 6:43 on the Mighty Metro FM. I'm shocked and in disbelief, because what you're saying to me is you're playing, you're having a fun day, and all teams do this. Not even in football, even you who works in offices, sometimes you have that team building thing where you go out and you're having fun. The bosses play along, and it's a day to connect with them. They're cheating, clearly so. But when you call them out, they threaten you on it with your job and with your life. You decide, this is too rich for me. Ting hambela, nsuge out of this space, because why am I playing here if this is how you're being treated? And for that, you feel you don't have a job anymore. But then my question then would be, if somebody treats you like that on that one day, that means it's something, one, they either used to, or two, surely you'd have seen signs, Uguti, this is the kind of person this is. It can't just happen on that one day, Kola.
No, it's something that always happened when we were playing football tennis, to be honest, And I guess on that day, I acted out. Maybe I was wrong for doing so. It happens. I'm a human being and I have emotions. And the most saddening thing is that Tim was there on that day.
Did Tim see what happened?
I don't know, because probably maybe he was busy on his phone or whatsoever. But as he was there, if there was an incident that the coach did not like, probably they discussed it, but I was never called in for a hearing or anything.
You have a relationship with Tim. That goes way, way back. Tim actually uses the words, I love the boy, when he speaks about you.
Yeah, I used to think so.
You don't think so anymore?
No, definitely not. Definitely
Tim
not. Tim
brought you into professional football.
No, Tim was given me into professional football. Coach then gave me to Tim, and I used to think Tim, yes, I used to see him as a father figure and but I had to go through this situation to now understand and learn the type of person that he is towards me. I cannot
Which is what?
for me, the situation defined him as a different person that I saw him to be.
Did you ever speak to Tim?
Yeah, we did.
After the incident?
We did. At first, I did not speak to Tim because I allowed my agent to take care of the matter, like professionally, so I cannot now jump people and say...
Yeah, you have to follow the hierarchy.
Yeah. So I spoke to my agent and say, oh, did you receive the news that I just received? And then she said, yeah, they gave me a call. They said the relationship with the coach is tainted. The guy no longer wants to work with you. I said, no problem, cool. I mean, I cannot want to force myself to work with a person who does no longer want to work with me, And it was okay.
Because you beat him at tennis.
Table yeah, and it's okay. But there's been situations that made it easier for me to accept the decision.
Had you ever had any issues with the coach before? Even a small thing?
No.
Do you know why I ask? I look at your record and I look at your movements from All-Stars to Pirates to Verts all along. And I say, Xola's got 1 season here, 1 season here, 1 season here, 2 seasons here. Why does Xola move so much? Is he a problematic player? Because why is it that you've moved so much in a short space of time?
Yeah, Andile, when I look at my career, I always reflect to God. Says maybe God is placing me in certain situation, and after my service is done, He moves me. Because look at the situation I'll start at Cape Town All-Stars. We went there. The team was second. The coach was fired. Towards the end of December. I was injured at the time, and then saw the news that Coach Steyn left Cape Town All-Stars. While I was busy with my rehab and he gave me a call, was like, I think you saw the news. Me and Longa parted ways. I said, no, I saw it, coach. And then he said to me, just expect anything.
Yeah.
I was like, no problem. I know. And boom, when I went back to Cape Town, I was called in the office, They were like, no, the new coach thinks that you are not part of his plan. And at that time, the new coach hasn't even started. And then I asked a question at that time and said, but the new coach was busy with his team because he was coaching Ajax at that time, if I remember correctly. And then the manager looked at me. And then I said to him, nah, don't worry. I understand that when a movement happens in football, certain things will also happen, and I think that's why Coach Steyn called me, because we had a conversation even before. And again, on a get-go.